Famous Azerbaijani gymnast Zeynab Javadli shocked the world when she decided to marry the nephew of Dubai's ruler. Marrying into royalty sounded like the greatest thing in the world until it turned into a bad dream. Zeynab's new married life became a tale of control, and it became so bad that she had to turn to social media for help. What went wrong? Why did a famous gymnast leave her promising career to settle into the role of a third wife? And what were the consequences of this decision? Let's dive into this story. Marriage wasn't what made Zeynab popular. Before she got married, she was one of the most treasured Azerbaijan athletes, a well-known gymnast who had won medals at European and World Championships. Zeynab was born on the 19th of July, 1991, in Baku, the capital of Azerbaijan. She was just 9 when she began practicing rhythmic gymnastics. By the time she was 16, Irina Viner Usmanova invited her to Russia to train with the national team. Later, Zeynab returned to Baku to train with the Bulgarian coach, Mariana Vasilyeva, as she chose to represent Azerbaijan. After making that choice, she focused on accomplishing as much as possible in rhythmic gymnastics. She won the national championship of Azerbaijan multiple times. She competed in the 2006 European Championships in the junior section, finishing 8th in the club's event. That same year, she placed 4th at the World Club Championships in Japan after winning 4 gold medals and became the overall winner at an international tournament in Slovenia. She also won silver and bronze medals at a tournament in Portugal, a gold medal in Bulgaria for her hoop routine, and a bronze medal in Russia, where she earned the title Miss Elegance. Then something unexpected happened. Zeynab stepped away from gymnastics due to a number of factors, which included alleged conflicts with the Azerbaijan Gymnastics Federation and some personal reasons. It has been reported that she had, at various times, spoken about facing challenges within the AGF, which added to her decision to retire from the sport. But she wasn't going to wash her hands off the sport she had dedicated her life to completely. So she added that despite retiring from active participation, she was going to pursue a career in coaching within the sport, even as she devotes more time to family life. And Zeynab kept her promise by working with the coaching team of the Turkish national team as a Master of Sports in International class under Irina Viner. Then, in 2015, fans got the shock of their life when Zeynab got married to Saeed bin Maktoum bin Rashid Al Maktoum. Sheikh Saeed was a member of the ruling family, the nephew of Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the ruler of Dubai, the vice president and prime minister of the UAE. Like Zeynab, Saeed was also invested in sports and represented his country. He represented the UAE in skeet shooting at the Olympics in 2000, 2004, 2008, and 2012. He was coached by Lithuanian shooter Leonis Mulatokas and competed in the 2006 Asian Games and the 2007 Pan-Arab Games. In 2006, he won the Asian Shooting Championships in skeet. In 2010, he won the 9th Arab Shooting Championship in Kuwait. In 2011, he earned a gold medal at the ISSF World Cup Finals in Al Ain, UAE, and also at the Pan-Arab Games in Doha, Qatar. So this was a meeting of like minds, or so everyone thought. However, Saeed already had 2 wives, which wasn't a bad thing, given his religion allowed marriage to 4 women if he chose to. Just like we hope you choose to like the video, comment, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell to be notified about our new stories. Before taking Zeynab as his 3rd wife, he already had 11 children with his wives, and after marrying Zeynab, everything looked to be going smoothly. Zeynab herself was living comfortably in the palace with her children. But all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Saeed and Zeynab's marriage crashed in 2019, and it was so bad it forced her to move out of the royal palace and into a private villa with her children. There was no report of what caused the couple to break up, but speculation arose and many people believed that Saeed simply lost interest, a trend that is quite known with the royals, which often meant they had found a new interest. After the divorce, Zeynab stayed closed up with her parents and children, and little to nothing was heard from her for a long time. So many people just chalked it up to her living well and happy. But soon enough, a problem came up that drew Zeynab out of the shadows. In 2020, less than a year after she left her husband, she posted a video of herself crying on Instagram. And in that video, she was asking for help, stating that she had been mistreated and also officials were trying to take her 3 children from her care. She kept uploading these videos, telling her thousands of followers the details of what had gone wrong and sometimes what was happening in that moment. In one of the videos, there seemed to be a raid of the house carried out by people she says were connected to her ex-husband, Saeed. Zeynab was very upset and angry about these strangers entering her home. She cried, "I couldn't give my children to strangers. This is how they treated me. There was no law." A child could be heard in the video saying, "You can't take us anywhere," while people were seen gathered in the villa's courtyard. Zeynab also claimed she had faced 9 months of mistreatment, including physical and emotional abuse. She said, "The Sheikh's manager did all of this to me. No one helped me. They said it was a Sheikh issue and they couldn't do anything." She added, "No food, no water, nothing. Persecuted for 9 months. They were going to break down my door and take my children." She also mentioned that her phone, which contained evidence of the harassment, had been seized by these people. A distressed Zeynab had to get her lawyers to help her out of the terrible situation. But even they had so much trouble dealing with the issue that they had to inform the UN Human Rights Council to help. Zeynab's lawyers claimed that their client's right to move freely and speak out had been severely limited, and she has faced intimidation tactics. The appeal Zeynab's team laid out stated that Dubai police stormed her house, and she, her children, and her parents were attacked. And the evidence was available because at the time, Zeynab had streamed the event live and it got a lot of people had seen it. In the video, Zeynab could be heard saying, "Please help me. My kids and I are scared and worried about our safety and lives. We don't have a home and are stuck in a hotel in Dubai. My kids can't leave because they're scared I might get arrested and they'll be taken away from me." She had dealt with police raids, court summons, and arrest warrants regularly for the past 3 years. At one point, she even had to keep her children at home and was afraid of sending them to school because she feared they could be taken away from her and not come back. At some point, the school children went to and even encouraged her to take part in meetings to discuss the situation. Zeynab kept making her case for UN intervention, claiming that she and her children had become hostages in their own home. At this point, her parents had gone back to Azerbaijan, and honestly, there was no way they could help her. Thankfully, Zeynab's lawyers were available, and they quickly put up the argument that Zeynab's case hadn't been properly handled. They claimed that she has been through a blatantly unfair, discriminatory, and biased judicial process. Also adding that a court ruling in her favor was changed shortly after it was issued without a good reason, and the custody of the children was given to Saeed without following the right procedures. Saeed's lawyers, on the other hand, contradicted everything that Zeynab's lawyers were saying, arguing that she wasn't a good mother. And for almost 3 years, this back and forth went on, with each side not willing to give up custody for the other. One of her lawyers even said, "It's not too late. There is no need for this situation to deteriorate any further. It can be ended now in the best interest of all parties." However, she and some of her lawyers thought that the decision to give custody of the kids to Sheikh Saeed might be enforced soon, even though she had filed another appeal against the ruling. The royal family of the UAE has always had the issue of custody battles every time a divorce takes place between couples. In fact, the head of the family himself, the ruler of Dubai, who has had his own share of divorces, had fought a number of custody battles, some of which he had won and lost. A well-known case was his divorce from Princess Haya. After they ended their 15-year marriage, Haya was worried the ruler would take their children in the divorce, so she fled to London with the children. There, she sought a divorce under European laws and won, and the London court ordered her ex-husband to pay her $550 million. Haya now lives in fear of retaliation from the Dubai ruler. She and her children are protected by security guards, not to mention the more recent divorce saga between his daughter Sheikha Mahra bint Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum and her husband. The princess, whose news of the divorce caused a lot of commotion, especially because it was done on social media in the full glare of the public. The famous, "I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you," seems to have had some religious significance. Because after that proclamation on Instagram on July 16th, she and her spouse stopped following each other on social media. They also removed each other's previous posts from their profiles. Sheikh Mahra hasn't publicly responded or commented on the divorce news yet. This hasn't resulted in a drawn-out legal battle yet. Unfortunately, Zeynab doesn't have the connections that some other divorced women of the royal family have. So her only solution is to agree to whatever terms would allow her freedom and access to her children. Now she has devoted herself to fighting for better rights for women in the Gulf for more than 10 years. She has helped rape victims accused of sex before marriage and handled family law issues and custody battles. She has also been active on social media lately, supporting other gymnasts and spending time with her children. She seems to have moved to a new place even though she decided not to leave the UAE. Clearly, she and her ex-husband reconciled, or the family decided to settle matters between them amicably. Just that as of now, there are no more alarming videos from her. Zeynab Javadli's life story is one marked by significant achievements in rhythmic gymnastics, followed by a marriage with so many challenges. Despite her success in sports, she decided to dedicate her strength to motherhood, and she did well for a few years. Nothing could have prepared her for the future that had a divorce waiting for her. But the resilience of the young woman to face off with royalty for the sake of her children is something that is truly inspiring. The women of the UAE have more and more women of high status standing up for themselves when faced with unfair disadvantages, and it is clear that they are living in a revolutionary time indeed. And this is what is very inspiring. We would like to hear your opinion about Zeynab and how she handled her career, marriage, and most importantly, custody battle in the comment section below.